Okay, easiest way to talk about human beings is like an iceberg. And as you know, roughly 10% of the iceberg is above water, and the rest of the 90% is unseen. If you imagine flipping the image upside down, so now the 90% of the iceberg that was underground is now your non-physical self, and the tip of the iceberg is now you walking around on planet Earth. The part that we are concentrating on, if you see on the slide, is the red area. And that's the mental image, that is the human ego mind, that is distorting the pure flow of source energy from the 90% non-physical you into the 10% physical you. So that's the part we're working on right now at this time on planet Earth, is clearing the human ego mind beliefs that was necessary to play the game of separation, but is no longer required. So instead of getting this beautiful creation, you get a distortion. So we have mental illness, we have physical illness, we have greed, we have all the things of a third dimension reality, which is not love, not beauty, not goodness, not abundance, not joy. It's fear. So all of that's locked in here. And this is what we're clearing out right now. So this is how I see the awakening process. For those of you who need graphs, consider the human mind, your human mind, our human minds, have X units of content, let's say 1,000 units of content. And when you start your journey, you have, let's say, 200 units of I am presence, quantum, God energy, call it whatever you want, Mickey Mouse, well-being energy. You have 200 units of that, and you have 800 units of human ego mind. As you start bringing all these limiting beliefs and behaviors and patterns up from the subconscious to the conscious awareness, so the I am of you can see it and blast it with light and love and release it, then the limited human ego mind starts to diminish, and I am presence starts to rise naturally in you, just the same as it grows a daisy up through the cement. That's the lesson of a weed. We flock to kill them, but when you look at how life just grows them up through any obstacle, that's the same life force that's wanting to grow up through you, grow you, express through you, through your unique personality, through your uniqueness, so that you can make your beautiful contribution to the world. So the work is in releasing this human ego mind, and it comes from everywhere. It comes from past lives, future lives, because, again, this is physics. Everything's now. So all these things, and we've been here many times. I'm going to poke a lot of your buttons on this one, I know. You have to be willing to understand and expand. We're special forces on the other side. We grow universes. We grow planets. They all start that way. Do you remember in Contact at the end, she asked her father, why? And he said, it's always been done this way. Every planet starts as a swirling mass of nothing. And we populate it, and we create, and we grow it, and we grow populations and humanities, and we try from this darkness to find the light. It's been done that way since the beginning. And we're special forces. We've been many other places, many other consciousness destinations. And to come down here, to be in the darkness, we are loved beyond measure, because this is the hardest place in the galaxy to be. It's just nothing short of painful. But we're doing it. We're doing it this time. All right, so the barrier to oneness is the human ego mind. And if you just look at the news, you can see ego playing it out in all over the place. You know, ego is that part that we created to keep us in the game of separation, and it identifies itself as you. It's I am my work. I am my car, I am my body, I am my mind. You're none of those things. You are this expanded consciousness expressed through this vehicle. So all of these personas have to be reunified through this unit, this body-mind unit, at this time. And that's our work, is to go back and get all of our players off the field. No man left behind. So why become awake? It's good. It's unity. It's what our hearts yearn for. When we yearn and long for anything, it is this oneness with Source, because we know it in ourselves, in our souls. We want to go home. My mother just passed, and the one thing she just kept saying before she died is, I want to go home. I want to go home. And it wasn't a home, it was home. So every moment is a spiritual moment, even on the battlefield, even when Foley was being beheaded. Every moment is a spiritual moment. But the question is how clearly then is Source energy moving through you? Or is it being distorted through the beliefs of your human ego mind? In other words, what's the quality of your consciousness? Is it down here? And so we're still fighting and warring and grasping and grabbing and living in fear and not enough? Or are you becoming more and more kind and more generous because you actually feel this connection of more than enough? And you know you're fully supported and fully funded. The quality of our creations is the fruit of who we are. So your inner work is demonstrated. If you've cleared this field, then you are bringing this high frequency energy through this unit. You are oozing it out through your field. You're influencing everybody around you wordlessly. Wordlessly. I had occasion one time, I was out dancing, and I had a rule that I never said no to the first dance, because I was there to dance. I love to dance. And this is in San Juan Capistrano. And this exuberant Mexican guy asked me to dance, and he had on his cowboy boots and his hat, and he was drunk. And I had this rule. So he starts two-stepping me all over the dance floor. I mean, just crazy, happy guy. I mean, he was just happy from ear to ear and every little cell in his body, and he was just oozing joy. And in his exuberance, he stepped on the instep of this giant 6'6" cowboy, who was also white. And I watched this guy get stomped, and I watched his face go from happy to, oh my God, that hurts. And then he looked around to see who did this to him. I mean, it was like slow motion frames. And he grabbed the guy I was dancing with, and he whipped him around, and then he pulled back his arm and was cocking it to deck him. And I just, in that instant, I came to now, and I just blew pink smoke on him, like, and I watched this guy lower his arm. I'd never done that before. I'd never even attempted it. I don't know where it came from. But that is that vertical connection to all that is, to well-being. It's available to everybody. And one connected to Source is more powerful than a million who are not. And that's the potentiality that we all have here today. Okay, so how's it work? Whatever shows up in your life is your mirror by the law of attraction. Law of attraction that operates in this quantum field, that like attracts like. So we know it as birds of a feather flock together. Republicans go to the library and check out conservative books. Liberals go to the library and check out liberal books, and never the twain should cross. That's consciousness. And we group ourselves in these consciousness groups. All right, so it all works about everything that you think and believe. including the junk that's in your subconscious. So if you keep tripping over something in your life, you can't make money, you can't find a mate, you have constant psoriasis or whatever that ook factor is in your life, it's in your field. And you are attracting it and creating it, making it more. I know this is the worst part, becoming totally self-responsible. But responsible in this work is the ability to respond.